Tonight's big story, Cyclone Nivar is inching further closer to India's southeastern coast. The landfall expected later tonight between Mamalapuram near Chennai and Karaikal in Puducherry in a few hours from now, with a wind speed of 110 to 140 kilometers per hour. Ahead of the landfall, air operations at Chennai International Airport have been suspended. All roads leading to Marina, Basant Nagar beaches closed temporarily. People in Chennai and neighboring areas told to not venture outside, especially near the beaches. 25 NDRF teams have been deployed, 22 teams on standby to assist the affected states. As we speak, over 1.25 lakh people in Tamil Nadu, 5,000 people from Puducherry already have been evacuated. Those are live pictures that are coming in at the moment. Wind speeds are rising as we speak there. And let me first go to SN Pradhan, the DG of NDRF. Remember, NDRF teams are on the ground there. As we play those pictures, Mr. Pradhan, give us a sense of what is the situation on the ground. Have you completed the entire evacuation, especially of those living in fishing communities along the coastline?
Well, Rajdeep, what has happened is that for the last 48 hours or so, we are on the job for evacuation and awareness drives. And I must compliment the state governments of Tamil Nadu and Puducherry. They have also done a stellar job. And in combination, more than 1 lakh people now, as per report last received, more than 1 lakh people have been evacuated in Tamil Nadu itself. And more than 2,000 to 5,000 have been evacuated in Puducherry. And the evacuation goes on, because we have some lead time till the landing happens, which will be probably in the small hours of the night. And as you have already said, 25 teams of NDRF are on the job and they are working round the clock.
You know, you have now almost perfected an standard operating drill with cyclones. We had Amphan in Kolkata, then we had the cyclone that just about bypassed Mumbai earlier this year, and now, of course, Cyclone Nivar. Is there a standard operating procedure now, or do you have to treat every cyclone very differently in terms of how you spread out your teams?
Yes and no, because every cyclone in even the meteorological terms is a unique cyclone. I mean, this cyclone itself, Nivar, is a very unique and tricky cyclone, because we must remember that because of some geographical forces, the cyclone has transformed from deep depression to severe cyclone to very severe very quickly in a matter of few hours. But then, yes, there are some threshold procedures which are standard, and evacuation is very important one among them, and also the awareness drives well into time so that people are cajoled, convinced, because we must all remember that it's the poor people who are affected the most, and it is not very easy to leave your property and go. So that is a tough call, but I think the Tamil Nadu administration and the Puducherry administration have done a wonderful job, as I say.
What's your biggest challenge that you're facing? The cyclone likely to make a landfall after midnight. Does that make things more difficult if the landfall takes place in the dark of the night?
Yes, of course. You know, we really have to plan now to wrap up all our preparations by probably dinner time tonight, or maybe by midnight tonight, because we cannot really wait for the small hours of the morning. 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. is just not on. So everything has to be wrapped up, and so that people can go and rest in the safe houses and the safer cyclone shelters. And then if there is still some X factor that happens, we are prepared for it. So that's why I have asked my troops to wrap up the work and get some rest, because it may be a very early start tomorrow, and we may have to be hitting the ground running even as the wind picks up. So that's a tough call, and it does make things difficult when the landfall happens in the dark.
One final question: how many members do you actually have on the ground at the moment, and are they spread across all the 3 states, presumably Andhra, Puducherry and Tamil Nadu? Or is the focus on Tamil Nadu?
Yes, certainly the focus is on Tamil Nadu plus Puducherry, because that is where the cyclone is going to impact. And in Tamil Nadu also, it is about 7 to 8 coastal districts of northeastern Tamil Nadu, which is abutting Chennai, and of course Puducherry, the whole area. So it is a population of about a few crores or 1.5 crores or so. But it is the coastal villages which will be the affected areas, and that is where we are concentrating.
Okay. Mr. Pradhan, to you and your team, you have a tough night ahead. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll of course keep coming back to you for updates. I wish you and your team all safety, and thank you very much for the work that your team is doing on the ground. Thanks very much for joining me here.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.